I guess you got 30 seconds.
Go ahead and do it now because I'm putting on a broadcast.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up qualifying. We're going to go knock out this pre-race drivers meeting. First off, welcome to the DES NextGen race here at North Wilkesboro. Remain off the track for the warm-up until after drivers meeting is completed. Tonight will be a total of 220 laps. We have no stage breaks. You'll have one fast repair, 4 additional sets of tires. A couple things to note, only black flags that will be cleared are passing under yellow due to wrecked cars and wrecking into the pits. We will not clear black flags for speeding through pits or unsafe entry or exit. During restarts, keep the pack tightened up. Laying back to jump to start will result in a penalty. And once we take the green flag, you must maintain your line until you cross the stripe. After the yellow's out, let's catch the pace car immediately to prevent delaying others from entering the pits. And when cycling through green flag stops, say to the radio what your intentions are to allow others time to move around you. Good luck tonight, guys. Let's have some fun.
Good afternoon, party people. We are here with the NextGen cars at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Nice short track showdown with the most powerful cars that they can drive around here. I'm joined in the booth by Mr. Hunter Davis and producer Damon O'Brien. How are you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing fantastic tonight. I've been looking forward to some good old short track racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one as we get the starting lineup here. Hunter, take us through it.
Starting on your pole position, you got the one car of Gary Bergeron to his outside, and second, the 68 of Tom Ringer. Starting in third, you get the 5 car of Brandon Hinton with the 4 car of Chuck Burley starting in fourth. In your fifth position, you get the 99 car of Christian Clark with Beer Run Racing, and the 23 of Thomas Long starting in sixth. Starting in seventh, you got a DES newcomer, number 72, Jackson Bice, to his outside, 59 of Matthew Tennant. Starting in ninth position, you got the 69 car of Todd Perrant from Canada, and the 48 of Max Dinda. Starting in 11th, you got the 56, Mark Holloway, to his outside in 12th, 51, Jonathan Green. 13th position, the 28 car of Stephen Ouellette, and the 67 of Charles Connors, starting in 14th. Starting in 15th, you got the 86 car of Zach Reichel. We do have a handful of cars out here that did not qualify. You're going to have the 39 car of Tyler Tomasi, starting in 16th. 13 of Tanner Honeycutt, starting in 17th. The 43 of Hunter Cox, starting in 18th. 3 of Sean Dion, and the 57 of Chris Wagner will round out the field.
Looks like a few of these guys actually missed the start, so we'll see if they actually come to this race. It's going to be an interesting one. It's a hot, slick track right now. You've got track temp around 116, so these guys are going to have to be paying attention to the cars sliding around in the tire wear.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that we saw during practices. Track temps were well above 115, so the track is definitely very hot. You got a lot of power. Trying to put it to the ground is going to be kind of difficult for these guys tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a true short track showdown. They're going to have to pay attention to what they're doing. Watching them in practice, a lot of them figured it out, knew how to run the track, so we're going to see if they all continue doing that.
Yeah, looking at this front row, I mean, you got the 68 of Tom Ringer. He's shown a lot of speed this year. The one of Gary Bergeron starting on the pole is obviously going to be in the hot seat with that inside lane. But then you got those 2 Rat Fink cars stacked up there on the outside. I'm kind of curious to see if they can make this roll.
As we get green flag racing, the 1 car gets a nice jump. He's followed by the 5. The 68 is going to try and hold on the outside of the 5. Brandon Hinton, the 4 car battling Christian Clark right there for P5 right now. The 72, he's looking to also make an opportunity. 23 is going to try and sail around the outside as well.
As we are already 3 wide at the back of the field, looks like these guys have started to iron themselves out with that 48 car, looking to the outside of the 56. He's going to get it to roll. Now looking to the inside of the 59.
One thing I've noticed is these cars run a bit of a higher lane, so that outside lane is kind of going to be working real well for them as Gary Bergeron's going to hold his position with Tom Ringer settling into P2, but he's got the 5, the 99 spinning. He hits the wall. Let's see if he's got a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys are able to combat the hot track, right? A lot of power trying to put it to the ground. And, this track is very difficult to make passes on regardless of, track temps. So trying to get these guys, basically, if it's short track racing, can you get a bumper on the inside? Yep. Okay, so now if you look at the 68 Ringer, now he's going to have that inside lane, see if he can get the drive off the pass.
He's definitely going to try to, but it looks like the outside lane is kind of prevailing a little bit as the 5 has also lost position to the 4, while that Tom Ringer is actually going to prevail on the bottom, and he actually is going to take the race lead now.
Your new race leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer, the 1 of Gary Bergeron, is going to fall back into P2. This is the 4 of Chuck Burley and the 5 of Brandon Hinton. They're going to be crawling at his back bumper.
Looks like the top 4 have separated themselves a little bit from the 72, so they're looking to maintain position, stay away from the field. There are no stage breaks here in the Next Gen series, so paying attention to where you're running, how you're running is very crucial. He's going to pull up to the back of the 4 car now. He hasn't quite got the nose under there. Last lap he was close in 1 and 2. He keeps pulling up to the rear bumper, but he's trying to be patient. He doesn't want to move him, doesn't want to touch him. You know, Brandon Hayden's a very good driver. If he can't make the pass cleanly, he's probably not going to try and make the pass.
We got a pretty good battle back here developing with the 59 car, the 69, 51, and the 56 battling it out. 69 was looking to go 3 wide, decided to smartly back out of it. It looks like the 59 overdrives in a little bit and is going to shove him up high.
Yeah, these guys are wanting to get past him. They might feel like they're getting hung up a little bit, but, you know, you got to be patient with it. The 59's running a different kind of line than a lot of the cars out there, so you really got to pay attention to what you're doing around people and look at what they're doing. As a 51 sails to the inside of the 69, gets on the brakes hard enough, doesn't hit the 59.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing about short track racing, you know, is you can kind of just play the different lines. So you can run that bottom line. And one thing that's unique about North Wilkesboro is the corners are asymmetrical. So if you look at like Martinsville, where it's just a paperclip, right? Pretty much turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4 are exactly symmetrical. But you come here to North Wilkesboro and they're not. The banking's different. The entry and exit are different. So it kind of makes for a challenge during these longer runs, especially without stage breaks.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking that some guys are running a little higher because they might feel it's a bit more comfortable and a little easier to get around the track, as the 69 is going to try and pass the 59 right now, as the 72 has also caught the 5. He's been steadily working his way up there as he dives to his inside, and we got a car spinning in the back.
And the yellow flag is going to come out.
Looks like it was the 28 of Stephen Ouellette. He was spinning right there and gets into the wall, but he got that vehicle moving again, and let's hope he doesn't have too much damage. The 99 is going to be really happy to see that, as he had that early race incident.
Yeah, looks like he was having some issues getting it re-rolling there, almost pulled up back in the field, but thankfully it doesn't look like anybody was injured in this.
Yeah, it was just a bad exit. A corner car stepped out on him, and he couldn't get it gathered up in time. And then, you know, he sat there and waited. Oh, somebody actually did make contact with him while he was sitting up there on the wall.
That will bring out your first caution of the day at lap 13. Lucky for the 28 car, Stephen Ouellette, we do have one fast repair here in this NextGen series. So I look to see him heading down pit road to use that. For the rest of the guys, though, I don't foresee them hitting the pits just yet.
No, I wouldn't pit this early. You've only done 12 laps. I mean, how different could tire wear be? But that's also the game here. You know, you got to pay attention to what your tires are able to do.
So I can't necessarily speak to the next-gen cars, but in the trucks, you know, you could run probably about 40 to 50 laps, and you could get a you'd have a pretty significant tire fall off, but you could do it. After that, you know, the tires would be very, very loose on entry, and then it would start freeing up on exit on you as well.
Yeah, next gens are a little more square. They've got all that downforce, but they have a lot of horsepower for this track, so they might still have some of the similar incidents, but I've never ran the next gen around here, so I don't know either. So we're both learning together.
Yeah, that's one thing these guys do. They make it look easy, you know, trying to roll these corners, and you don't see them necessarily fighting their wheel, fighting the car through the corner. But I can tell you that North Wilkesboro is not an easy feat to master this track and to be quick here.
And it looks like nobody's going to be a taker on pit road. They're going to get back to double file. It means that Christian Clark and Stephen Ouellette, their damage was not severe enough, so they're going to continue pacing around here, and they're going to see if they can get back into the action.
As the lights on the pace car are off, coming out of the exit of turn 4, the 68's going to lead him to the green flag.
He gets a good start, but it looks like he may have spun the tires as the 4 jumped to his inside. The 1 car is going to be sailing around his outside.
That's going to stack up the field here. Looks like the 72 is looking to take it 3 wide. It's going to fall into line behind the 68. Let's see if the 68 can get a good run here on the bottom to clear the 1.
He's going to definitely try and roll that outside, but again, that's where it comes into play, that asymmetrical track, you know, non-symmetrical. That's where that outside is going to kind of be interesting. Turn 1 and 2, it might work, but 3 and 4, it might not.
Now you got the one of Gary Bergeron under attack from the 72.
72 is going to race his way up into the top two. He's going to set his sights on Tom Ringer. He's going to want to lead some laps in his first ever race here at DDS.
Yeah, looks like we have some good battles back there through the field. Looks like the 48 and the 5 are trying to make that outside line work to clear past the 51 of Matthew Tennant and the 56 of Mark Holloway. Sorry, the 51 of Jonathan Green.
Yeah, the 51 of Jonathan Green's been steadily working his way up, but another car I noticed is the 5. Oh, 2 cars wrecking. Is that going to bring out a caution? It looked like it was Thomas Long and somebody else getting door to door with each other. Caution out.
Looking back here from the view of the 69 car of Todd Ferrant. Ooh, massive hit from the 23 car on exit a corner there. Doors the 69 down into the inside safer barrier.
Looks like he just got loose on exit and slid down and hit him. As Stephen Ouellette's going to be happy about that caution, gives him a nice lucky dog, puts him back on the lead lap.
And we're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And welcome back after that quick commercial break. The lights on the pace car are off. The 68 looking to lead the field to the green flag. You got the 72 of Jackson Bites to his outside. The 1 of Gary Bergeron starting in third. 4 of Chuck Burley in fourth. And the 56 of Mark Holloway restarting in fifth. And here we go.
We're off the green flag racing. The 72 is going to try and carry momentum on the outside. He wants to take the race lead, and he's going to clear the 68 going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision on that 68 car. That high line can be a hard momentum to stop, and you don't want to overheat or burn up your tires trying to fight there. You know, wait till these guys settle out, let him burn off his stuff, and you'll reel him right back in.
Yeah, and Tom Ring is very good about managing his tires, so that's most likely what he's doing. He probably yielded to that position and then realized, yeah, let me be cautious, get a nice green flag run going, and I'm going to chase him back down. As the 51 is now on the outside, and he's trying to go around the 4 car and potentially get up there to compete with the 1.
Yeah, looks like he's going to overdrive the corner, probably going to clear the 4, but he's going to be stuck to the outside of the 1 of Gary Bergeron here onto the backstretch at North Wilkesboro, heading into turn number 3.
Well, we've watched him before, and where he's most comfortable is a middle higher line. So, you know, that's probably what he's doing, is he's using that momentum to get through. His 48 gets loose and loses some momentum. He doesn't wreck it, but he definitely got loose.
He's definitely probably got some right front damage from that. Let's see if he can slow down, try to save it up, get back into a groove here.
Yeah, if he's got wheel damage, that's going to hurt him a lot. I mean, that's something he did not want to have happen this early in this 220-lap race.
He's going to lose a couple positions there. Looks like he's going to fall back in line behind the 5 of Brandon Hinton.
And it looks like the 51 finally cleared him, but look at them pulling back up to that 72. So they did let him do what he needed to do, but they are reeling him back in now.
Looking back at the 67 of Charles Connor, the 23 of Thomas Long battling it out here for position number 10. You get the 3 of Sean Dion looking there in that rear view mirror with the 59 of Matthew Tennant knocking on the back door.
Interesting racing going on so far. They're really trying to be patient with what they're doing. But, you know, short track racing, sometimes that door opens a lot sooner than you would expect it to. So they got to make the decision. Do you take that move or do you not?
That 67 is not giving the 23 any breathing room there, heading out of turn number 4. He's going to look to the bottom here in 1 and 2, see if he can slide up underneath him to clear him. Looks like the 23 is going to maintain that position, get the run off.
And while we were watching that, it looks like the 51 got past the 68. The 68 then gives him a bump on exit and goes right back past him. So the front of the field is also changing positions rapidly.
Hey, all I got to say is here at North Wilkesboro, this is some good old-fashioned short track racing.
Look how many of them are in a group up there in the front. 72's got a little bit of a gap, but then you got the 51, 68, 1, 4, 56, 5, and then someone else behind him, all stacked up right there. So that's pretty much showing you how many of these guys know how to run short tracks and know how to put themselves in contention.
Oh, yeah, I mean, so, you know, looking back to the premier race we did here at North Wilkesboro, the harder the guys are battling and side by side, the more it's going to allow those drivers behind them to catch up and the guys in front of them to pull away.
And that's kind of what's happening right now is the 72 and 51 have checked out on the 1 and the 68, and the 51's actually trying to peek under the 72 to try and combat him for the lead. So as the 68 and the 1, Gary Berger and Tom Ringer are battling, you got the 4, the 56, the 5, and the 48 all right there waiting for their chance to pounce as well.
So if you watch here, I don't know if he's going to do it again. Yep, he is. He's going to try to drive to that outside, but if you watch on corner exit, he's going to try to slide that bumper underneath him and get the drive off the corner.
Yeah, these guys are battling hard. It's very interesting to see this happening. You got a battle for the lead as well as a battle for P3 as the 51 gets to the inside and 72 doesn't have the drive off, but he's going to keep trying on that inside line. He's going to push it under there, and he's going to see if he can beat him off the exit corner. But the 1 and the 68 have sorted themselves out, and look how the leaders are battling, and Tom Ringer is starting to reel them back in again.
Yeah, if they're not careful, that 68 is going to be poking a nose there on the inside of that 51 car.
And that's what happens, just like you said.
Contact, 68, 51. Good job on the 51 to keep it there together.
He sailed it in there, but he did the right thing. He didn't run him over.
Yeah, one thing you'll notice, if the 51 wants to set this pass up, what he needs to do is get a really good run there on that high side and then drive underneath him on exit as the 72 is pushing back out to the wall. That's going to be your key to try to making these clean, successful passes here.
But then again, that's the risk versus reward situation. Does he burn the tires? And I mean, look, he's getting hung up behind the 72, and it's allowed the 68 to dip his nose under him now.
Looking at the view from the 68 car, as the 68's now going to pull to the inside of the 72 and contest for the race lead. It's a little squirrely there on exit. Going to drop back now side by side with 51.
Yeah, the 51 has decided that high line is kind of where he's most comfortable. He's moved back up there. But it's definitely tough racing out here. I mean, these guys are throwing down. Look at this, though. This amount of people in contention right now to lead a lap is very interesting. As we got our first green flag pitter, it's going to be Thomas Long.
Looking here at the roof cam of the 68 car, and you can see how just much these guys are stacked up. You know, you could almost throw a blanket under these guys and cover them all. So he's going to look to the inside of that 51 car of Jonathan Green.
If you were in the position of the 68, would you be concerned and worried about that line of cars behind you while you're trying to make a pass?
Not necessarily. I mean, at North Wilkesboro, it's very, like I said, it's very difficult to make passes here, so the biggest thing is trying to minimize the bleeding while saving your race car.
That is true, and I like that explanation. Minimize the bleeding. So he's patiently trying to work past the 51, but he's also trying to maintain his pace. He doesn't want to let those guys catch all the way up to him, but he also doesn't want to give up the opportunity to move forward. As long as it's done cleanly and preserving his stuff, I think it's something he'll do as he makes that pass on the 51.
Yep, 51 is going to give up that position uncontested. Let's see what the 68 car has for the 72. One thing you'll notice here special about North Wilkesboro is you're not really going to see as much bump and run due to the shallow banking and the high entry speed. It's very dangerous to do these bump and runs because all you got to do is make a little bit of contact and you're just going to slide their rear end right out from underneath them.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to take somebody out, and you want to make sure you do it all respectfully as he's getting underneath the 72, and the 51 is starting to move backwards now. Do you think he could have potentially burned up his material?
He definitely could have. He was pushing pretty high on that high lane as he goes back to the high lane through 3 and 4. You're going to look at the 72 car, get a massive run out. 68 still going to be side by side with him, see if he can clear him here in 1 and 2.
Now, where the 68 and 72 are getting lucky is the 51 is having to contest the 1 car right now. So they're technically battling, so that's not going to allow him to pull up to him as Tom Ringer completes the pass and goes to the point.
And we have the 68 car back into the lead position. Looks like that 72 car of Bice is going to fall back a couple car lengths as these guys are still battling it out throughout the field.
This is actually very interesting, watching these guys do things like this. The 1 car is going to dip under the 51 again as the 56 sails to the outside of the 4. He might complete that pass too. He wants to get up there and compete with these guys.
Yeah, the 56 and the 4 are Ratfink teammates, so I don't see too much contention coming or contest coming from those guys and battling from position. Looks like the 4 is going to let him by.
Yeah, they're up there fighting hard for position right now. They really want to start moving forward. Their other teammates are towards the back. You've got Todd Perron, he's back there. He definitely wishes he was up there. He's fast, but don't slouch on him. He may be in the back right now, but don't be surprised if you see him appear towards the front.
And if you look at the back of that main pack right there, you get the 48 of Max Dend and the 5 of Brandon Hinton, who both have speed here, just kind of chilling back there waiting to see what's going to happen.
You got to be patient. With this many laps, you can't just try and sail to the front. Yes, leading the most laps is a great thing to do, but there's no advantage to it. So these guys definitely want to pay attention to their material, figure out the track, learn the track, and then when they get ready to move forward, know how to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, look at that 68 car. Tom Ringer has pulled off to a 2.5 second gap over the 72 of Jonathan Bice.
Yeah, Jonathan Bice is actually
Jackson Bice.
Clutches. Oh, yeah, Jackson. He's falling into the clutches of the 1 car. Oh, couple cars together, 56-4 off track.
Looks like they're both going to be able to keep it together. They're going to lose quite a bit of track position here, falling back. 56 is able to remerge, but the 4 car is going to be left out stranded quite a few seconds behind.
Looked like they just had a little checkup right in front of them or something like that to cause them to do that. We're going to take a look at the replay. 56 is up high, gets down low. 4 cars carrying some momentum, gives his teammate a tap. 48 also has nowhere to go, pushes the 4 car off.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to let those tires come back down to temperature before they can start pushing again.
Yeah, that definitely put a hurt in their plans. But the 56, he was able to rebound pretty nicely. And he's up there right behind the 48 of Max Denda. He's running a P6, Max Denda P5. And he's already back trying to contest him.
Yeah, you got a battle here for second between the 1 of Gary Bergeron and the 72 of Jackson Bice. Looks like the 1's going to be able to roll that high side and take that position. Looking at the 68 of Tom Ringer, it's going to encounter some lap traffic here. His first car, the 28 of Stephen Ouellette.
72 got loose there. His tires might be a little overheated. He spun down. He was able to gather it back up. He's going to fall in P6 behind Mark Holloway.
Yeah, the field starts to spread out a little bit. It's mainly going to come down to who can conserve the most tires and extend this run. I look to see probably green flag stops cycling here within the next 10, 15, 20 laps or so.
Yeah, Tom Ringer is actually starting to go through lap track as he passes Zachary Reichel to become the first car a lap down. He got past Stephen Ouellette. Now he's going past Zachary Reichel, who's also a Ratfink driver. And Tom Ringer's trying to expand on that lead. He wants to make sure he's sitting comfortably so that when they do start pitting, he doesn't have to worry about much.
Yeah, right now, Tom's got about a 5.5 second lead, 6 second lead over the second place car of Gary Bergeron. So he should honestly just be kind of cruising at conservative stuff. He's got that track position to where when stop cycle, but he's looks like he's going to keep pushing, try to start lapping the field.
Yeah, he's going to try and really build that gap as you've got the 5 battling the 51. He's going to be able to clear him easily, and he's going to keep moving. Those 2 are teammates. So that's probably why that was done a little easier, because, you give your teammate a little bit of space.
Yeah, this second pack here, position number 2 through 8 has not budged a bit. These guys are still just right there next to each other, right bumper to bumper.
Yeah, Max has pulled up into the P3 position. We saw him hit the wall earlier, and he gathered it up. I guess he decided he was going to calm down, keep his tires a little cooler than everybody else, and just kind of pick them off as he came. And as he's going to the 1 car, he's going to try and contest for P2.
Yeah, I think these guys are starting to near the end of their tire run, so these guys are probably going to be trying to push and get everything they can out of this set of tires before they put some fresh Goodyears on in the pits. Tom Ringer now pulled out to a 7-second gap over that 1 car, Gary Bergeron, looking to see him start encountering some more lap traffic here soon.
Yeah, it looks like Tom has figured this track out pretty well. He has figured out how to get around here without really destroying his material. He let people by, then when the opportunity came back, he went back past them. So he paid attention to what he needed to do, and he is definitely making the best of it, as P2 has now had a change of hands. Max Dinda to P2.
And P3, Gary Bergeron, you get the 5 car looking to the inside of that 1, trying to take away position number 3. He's going to be side by side, entering here into 3 and 4. I think he's going to be able to clear him right here coming onto the front stretch.
He's going to get into his inside, and Gary Bergeron understands that's not a fight he really wants to deal with. He knows his car is heading backwards.
You got the 68 car hitting some more lap traffic. The 3 car Sean Dion is now the first car 1 lap down. Looks like Christian Clark in that 99 machine is next up on the chopping block for that 68.
Christian Clark, he started in the top 5, and he was definitely looking like he had some speed, but that might have gone away. He might be trying to play the long game, be patient as possible, and not really push too hard, but going a lap down is going to really hurt that plan.
So he did have quite a bit of speed, but remember he had a little spin there that kind of put him off the pace, was involved in a little incident.
Yeah, that'll definitely do that too. Anytime you touch the wall, you never want to have that happen, and it can definitely hurt you quite a lot. And like I said, he's just got to focus on not going a lap down. There's nothing against racing the leader to stay on their lap. You just can't interfere with his race, pretty much.
Looking here from the cockpit view of the 68 of Tom Ringer, watch how smooth he is on throttle exit, on corner exit, so he doesn't spin the tires and break the car loose. He's very smooth throughout entry and exit. He'll get off throttle right here. He doesn't pick up the throttle too soon, rotates to the bottom, and then smooth off.
It's really fun watching these guys turn laps around here with how smooth and how methodical they are. They really understand exactly what they're doing. A lot of these guys are Premier Series drivers as well, and that they earned that slot by being this good as drivers. If I'm not mistaken, almost everybody in the top 10 is a Premier Series driver, so they know what they're doing, they're paying attention to it, and they're really making sure they can make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, about 60-70% of the top 10 are within the Premier Series. And while we're talking about the Premier Series, if you want to get on track with us here at DES, head on over to raceds.com. We run the ARCA Series on Wednesday nights, the Legacy and Premier trucks on Saturday nights, the NextGens obviously on Fridays, and then we have the Xfinity running on Sunday night. So if you're interested in getting on the track with us, head on over to raceds.com, hop in the Discord and chat with us. See you out on the track.
Definitely should do that, because not only can you race with these guys, me and you, Hunter, we both also race within DES, and we turn a lot of laps here, and we have a great time doing it. It's very hard to win in DES with the high level of competition out here. So when you do get that chance to be in contention to win, it's an amazing feeling. We got Christian Clark and Todd Perront that went down. Now, while we were talking, Tom Ritter actually pulled up to lap them, and all three of them, Matthew Tennant, Christian Clark, and Todd Perront, were battling for position as he pulled up onto them. So that was a dicey moment. He wanted to make sure he made it through there, so he kind of just let them sort themselves out before he went for an opening gap.
67 of Charles Connor didn't look like he was going to give way to the 68 car, but he gets into the wall a little bit. 68's going to be able to clear. We now have 7 cars remaining on the lead lap. Yet the 51 of Jonathan Green, 14 seconds off the lead, next up on the chopping block.
And that shows you how good Tom Ringer is and how much he's figured out this track. 7 cars left on the lead lap, because he has a very good understanding of this track, very good way around it, and he knows what he's doing, as we're only rounding out lap 77 right now. So we still got a pretty penny of this race left.
He's now up to a 9.5, almost 10-second gap to that second-place car, the 48 of Max Dinda.
Yeah, these guys have been pretty much green flagged for a while. We had a couple early race incidents, but after that, these guys have just been green flag, running, logging laps, making sure everything's going good. As the 5 has also pulled back up on the 48. He's going to try and contest him for P2, but that's not really what these guys really want to do right now. They want to kind of dig into that lead Tom Ringer has.
Well, I mean, so by the looks of it now, we're going to be cycling through some green flag stops here soon. I'm sure these guys are trying to consider, if I short pit, am I going to gain time with the fresher tires? Do I pit with the same cycle as the leader and just take the chances that I maintain the same gap? There's a lot of variables that are coming up onto here with so much time left in this race.
And I think we've got a car that already went down pit road. I think Jackson Buys hit pit road already. So now we're waiting on to see when the rest of the leaders are going to hit pit road.
Looking at the 56 car, the 1 and the 51 battling it out for position number 4. Sorry.
Yeah, P6. And they're going to try and do everything they can. The one he's gotten under the 56, he wants to get around him. But you have to keep in mind, these guys are battling for first car. First car is still on the lead lap, too. Nobody wants to be that next person on the chopping block, because Tom, he is coming. He runs about a 19-20-second lap, and there's 17 seconds off the leader.
Yeah, and looking at him at 16, 17 seconds back, that 68 car is going to catch him pretty quick here.
Especially when you're running side by side. All that's going to do is bring somebody closer to you. Now, it's interesting to see these guys under threat to go a lap down, because these are also guys competing to be out front.
Yeah, that 68 is just putting on an absolute clinic tonight with driving through the field. He's got now a 10.5-second gap over the second place 48 car of Max Dinda.
56 into the wall. He overcooked it on the corner. The 72... he pitted. We did talk about that. He pitted. He drove up past Tom Ringer and is now 1 lap down. So he is trying to make the best of that pit stop.
Yeah, that's the issue with green flag stops here, is you're pretty much almost guaranteed to go 2 laps down, but you see the tire difference on how well they're able to make it stick when they have 85 lap different tires.
Now, depending on how long his tire advantage lasts, he has to overcome about 15 seconds of a gap from him to Tom Ringer. Now, if he can do that, he could cycle through towards the front, but his tires are going to wear as well, and he's going to drop in speed, and if he equals out to them before he has accumulated enough, it's going to be all for nothing.
Looks like we got quite a battle development here for P2. You got the 5 of Brandon Hinton battling it out with the 48 car of Max Dinda. Max got a little loose there on corner entry. The 5 almost gave him the bumper to move him up. He got out of it, but it looks like these guys are starting to settle in.
They've also got the 28 Thomas Long there. He had some issues, and it's caused him to go 28 laps down. So he's just out here logging laps. He's going for the point game. So if anybody wrecks out, he's looking to capitalize on that.
And your 7th place car of Mark Holloway now going 1 lap down. You get the 1 of Gary Bergeron now under attack from the 68 machine of Tom Ringer.
That's just how good Tom is. These are guys who are a threat to take the win from him potentially. So that's showing you how good he is around this track.
Yeah, and I mean, we're so far into this green flag run, so it's not really going to benefit anybody if a caution were to come out, because the odds of these guys staying out are going to be very slim. That's going to be very difficult if they even have the fuel remaining to make it out with these lead lap cars.
Yeah, if they were to stay out to get the wave around, they would basically be hoping and praying for another immediate caution. It would have to happen immediately. So that's where the problem comes in. It's very unlikely they will have a caution right away, as Tom Ringer is trying to chase down Jonathan Green and put him a lap down now.
Yeah, I'm not really for sure what their fuel strategy is here. I'm not for sure how many laps they can make it. So it's going to be interesting to see how, when these green flag stops start to cycle, what kind of difference it's going to make.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long a fuel run can be, because if it's coming up on time to pit, these guys really need to start thinking about it.
We got a couple guys in the YouTube channel rooting on the 99. You got Tanner Honeycutt, cheering on the 5 of Brandon Hinton. It's good to see you guys out there in the chat. Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, and it's nice to see people making comments and talking about what's going on. Joe Mannon, he's shouting out Christian Clark. Christian Clark's still out on track, turning those laps. He's trying to gain every position he can. So it's nice to see people have supporters out there.
We are now down to 4 cars on the lead lap. Tom Ringer with an almost 12-second lead over the second place of Max Denda. You got the 5 of Brandon Hinton in third, the 4 of Chuck Burley in fourth, and that is your lead lap cars.
Yeah, Jonathan Green took it down pit road, so he's trying to capitalize on those fresher tires now, too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long this 68 car wants to extend this run, if he'll be able to have the tires to where he can still maintain that lead differential to where he's not going to allow these guys too much track position.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what he can do, too. If he continues, I want to see when he does come and how long he was able to go on his tires, because he might press 100 laps on the same set of tires.
As we are closing in on lap 98, nearing that halfway point. Looks like we have some good battles going out here through the field. You get the 1 looking to the inside of the 86. You get the 5 and the 48 there battling it out for position.
Yeah, they've been battling for a while now, so they've really been trying to change positions, but it's just been hard. They're so evenly paced that it's definitely really hard to get an advantage on the other one.
Yeah, you get that 72 car of Jackson Bice now looking to the inside of that 5 car. He's on some fresher tires. The 5's going to pull over, let him by as he tries to make his way back through the field to be the first car 1 lap down.
That's definitely going to hurt his chances of getting past the 48, because he's been pretty close to passing him for a while now.
Yeah, as a 72 is now going to go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. He's going to easily clear the 69 and the 48 car.
48 car is actually hitting pit road now. He is determined that he has gone long enough, and he wants some fresh rubber.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Most of these guys, it looks like the 68 car, the 5, the 48 are all kind of setting up for maybe a one stop race where they're gonna stop about halfway point and then finish it out on one set of tires.
It's definitely going to be tough to do. You really got to make sure you manage your tires or something like that. You've already got guys who have pitted, and they pitted a while ago. So we're waiting on the 68 to pit. Once the 68 pits, we'll know exactly how far that 72 is cycled through.
67 calling down the pit road. Looks like he got hung out on the high side, was not able to make that stop. He's going to have to do another lap around, and he's going to pit in this time by...
I don't want to take my eyes off Tom Ringer. I want to see when he goes down pit road, because we're on lap 104 and he still has not done it.
I think Tom is probably... Oh, and here he goes down the pit road right now. Let's see if the 5 car, Brandon Hinton, the 4 of Chuck Burley are going to follow him back down.
5 cars entering turn 3, and he is running a bit of a higher line. He is not coming to pit road right now. He's going to take over the race lead.
And as you said it, we have a new race leader, the 5 car, Brandon Hinton. Let's see if he's going to cycle down pit road here soon.
Now my question again, 72. He is in front of the 5. So with the 5 being the leader, that would mean Jackson Bice is back on the lead lap.
Now, one thing to pay attention to is, as you saw other cars cycling through these green flag stops, they were putting them about a lap and a half down. Tom Ringer just cycled out in P5, still on the lead lap, 13 seconds behind that 5 car, Brandon Hinton.
That's how monumental his race lead was, is the fact that he can cycle through and still remain on the lead lap. Now Brandon Hinton should really start thinking about pitting, because he has seen how fresher tires can have an advantage. So I'm really curious to see where his fuel is at and where he's at, to see when he comes down pit road.
Yeah, he might be playing the strategy game. You know, he saw how quick Tom was here, and he might be trying to play the strategy to where he can, maybe a caution will come out and he'll be able to cycle through under yellow flag conditions and not risk losing track position.
He just hit pit road. The only way he would have got a caution is if the solo spin stop on track, but he has hit pit road, and that's going to allow Tom Ringer to come back through and take over that race lead. A lot of cars coming back on the lead lap too now. Gary Bergeron's also going to hit pit road.
After we cycled through all of these green flag stops, looks like pretty much everybody has pitted. The 68 car is going to have still about an 8-second lead over that 72 car of Jackson Bice.
Yeah, Jackson Bice is probably going to cycle through pretty good. Max Denda actually cycles through to P2. Jackson Bice comes into P3. Then you got Brandon Hinton. He came out of pits 17 seconds off the leader. So he's still on the lead lap, but he's very close to going a lap down.
That just goes to show you how much of a difference that newer tires or fresher tires will make. And it might be the 72 car, Jackson Bice, may have stopped too early. He's got coming up on 40 laps on his set of tires, where these guys that have just cycled through, like the 48 car, have 10 laps. So a 30 lap differential between P2 and P3 in terms of their tire wear.
He is just got passed by Bergeron, who is a lap car.
51 of Jonathan Green looking to the inside. He's going to easily clear that 72 car coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think he did hit pit road too early, and it has definitely cost him on the long haul. Now, he gained position, but he's going to start trickling back as he's about to fall into the clutches of Chuck Burley.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see, he probably tried to push it a little too hard, trying to tick down off that lap time or that lead that the 68 had. We got a couple of drivers saying there's some debris on the back stretch, but I don't see any out there. Looks Looks like the iRacing officials got it cleaned up pretty quickly.
I think they're just hoping for a caution, honestly.
Yeah, that is one thing that is unique to our Next Gen series here at DES is we do not run any stage breaks here. It is green flag to the end if these guys can make it there.
And honestly, it's starting to look like these guys are going to go all the way to the finish under green flag conditions, which is what Tom Ringer definitely wants.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see, you know, can these guys make it to the end on fuel? Are they going to have to stop again? If you do have to stop again, are you grabbing fresh tires? You're going to take fuel only, try to hold that track position? You know, what's the strategy here?
If there is a late race caution, I would definitely pit and take tires. The speed difference over a large margin of tires, yes, it took a large margin for us to see any kind of difference, but waiting from now till the end of the race to pit, it's going to be tough.
You have the 23 of Thomas Long, who short stopped a little earlier. He is currently sitting 28 laps down, just out here ticking down some laps. Looking at your P2 car, the 48 of Max Denda, currently 10 seconds behind your race leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer.
And Vice has gone a lap down. Tom Ringer caught him and lapped him. He has gone a lap down. Actually, it's because he's on pit road again.
So you are now sitting currently at 5 cars on the lead lap. Sitting in 5th place, you get the 5 of Brandon Hinton, who is next on Tom Ringer's list to put a lap down.
Now, see, Vice has pitted again, so he's on his second stop of the race. Let's see what he can gain now. You know, he came out for a lot closer than Tom Ringer, a lot closer to Tom Ringer than he was before that. You know, based off the distance that these guys can go, I'm thinking Tom Ringer will have to make one more pit stop.
Yeah, it definitely could be, or the 72 car could have burned up his equipment a little too much, trying to run back down that gap. But it's honestly, it's a little too early to tell.
Yeah, I have no idea where Tom Ringer was at on fuel when he came to the pits, so that's the big question.
And looking at the data here, you got the 68 car is currently setting about half a lap quicker times than that second place car, the 48 of Max Denda.
Yeah, he's got some insane pace. To go half a second quicker than the guy sitting in P2 is insane over a long period of time too. Like I said early on, he's really got this track figured out.
Looks like we had a pass back for position number 4. The 5 of Brandon Hinton's going to clear the 51 of Jonathan Green and put about a 2-second gap on him. Looks like Brandon Hinton's going to start pushing now to try to run away from that 68 machine.
Yeah, he's going to have to, because you're sitting in P5 under threat to go a lap down. He's going to have to definitely push as hard as he can. As Tom Ringer gets to his inside already, Tom Ringer is really trying to just get the whole field a lap down where he has nothing to worry about.
I don't think the 51 is going to give it to him that easy. He's going to try to keep racing him hard, try to roll this outside to remain on the lead lap, but it looks like the 68 is going to prevail there on the bottom side.
It's just because the 68 rolls the corner so much better. I mean, just look at him. He goes into the corner, and it's almost like he's just floating through it. He's just out on a leisurely cruise through the corners. That's when you know you got it set up and dialed in.
Out for a Sunday drive, as they'd call it. As the 68 car is now pulling up to the 99 of Christian Clark. And we have a caution.
A caution? That is not what these guys wanted. Jonathan Green is going to be the beneficiary and go to 1 lap down.
And it looks like the 59 car of Matthew Tennant is going to be our caution. Looks like he just got a little loose there coming out of turn number 2, makes contact into 3. Looks like minimal contact, minimal damage. Everybody's going to make it here safe.
Over 100 laps of green flag racing. That's how you know it's done right. Question is, do you pit?
Now, one thing, yes, and absolutely, I would pit here. There are 4 cars on the lead lap. You know, you're going to have a total of 5 waiver rounds. But looking at that 72 car, Jackson Bice, who tried to shortstop this, ends up on the short end of the stick here, 2 laps down.
As you see Tom Ringer hit pit road, Jonathan Green, who, like I said, will be your first car lap down, he stays out. Bunch of lap cars come in as well. Looks like the whole lead pack is going to hit pit road.
So, like I said, though, with all of these guys pitting with Tom Ringer, one thing that's going to affect them is they're not going to be able to take the waiver round to get their lap back, so they will remain 1 lap down.
It's the recipe for disaster there. Honestly, I probably would have, with green flag pit stops happening, just 30 laps ago, and you can go 100 laps, I probably would have stayed out. And I would have risked it, got my wave around, got back in contention, and hoped that there'd be a caution at some point. You don't need it right away, but definitely hope that one came out at some point.
Yeah, now we're going to see the field get all bunched back up, and you know what they say, cautions breed cautions.
That's definitely what Tom Ringer doesn't want to happen, because if another caution comes out, that's another car back on the lead lap.
Yeah, one thing that I did notice, if Tom was able to pull out to that big of a gap for a lead, I don't think these guys behind him are going to waste too much time trying to get around him so they can hold that track position and play the defensive move, not the offensive move.
So he had amazing long run speed, but if we think back to the beginning of the race, he was under threat by quite a few people. His short run speed was still there, but it wasn't that much of a gap difference to everybody else. There were still people within contention to get around him, but now everybody's on equal playing field. They've got a better understanding of the track. They might be able to give him a little run for his money now.
We have a couple cars that are going to take the waiver around. The lights on the pace car are off. You get the 68 of Tom Ringer in the lead, the 4 of Chuck Burley, his teammate to his outside. You get the 5 of Brandon Hinton, and P3, the 48 to his outside. As we take the green flag, 68's going to get a big jump here going into turn number 1. 48's looking to the inside of 4.
And it looked like the 3 car on the outside didn't get rolling, and it allowed a couple people to get on his inside. But Max is now in contention to battle with Tom Ringer. Chuck Burley's also in contention. Brandon Hinton sitting there lurking in the background.
4's going to try to cross up the 48 entering here into turn number 1. He's going to get to the bottom and see if he'll be able to make it stick. Looks like the 48's going to have the drive off. They're going to be side by side here on exit.
I think the 4 had to back out of it a little bit because he was about to run the 48 up the track. And, he's a clean driver. He recognized that situation and he lifted off the throttle a bit. He planned for the next corner where he gets in front of the 48. But the 48 dices back to the outside. He's coming back for that position. 4 goes around.
And we got a car spinning around to the inside safer barrier. Looks like he was by himself. And as of right now, we're going to stay green flag racing, and the caution's going to come out.
He backed back on it, and this was not intentional, but when he backed up, got another incident as well that happened at the same time. Let's see if we could see potentially what it was. Oh, looks like Todd Perrant after the yellow. He's on the front straightaway, just spins it underneath Gary Bergeron, and he hits the inside wall.
Yeah, looks like he was trying to get that car woed up, trying to slow down for the yellow so he didn't run anybody over, and may have got out of the throttle at the wrong place, wrong time. Looks like the 1 car of Gary Bergeron is going to be your lucky dog.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 car just got on the throttle too soon, sparked the rear end, and it snapped around on him. Because it looks like he got on the throttle, it started spinning, he got off the throttle, he did the smart thing, he lifted off, and it just had enough momentum to rotate it.
Yeah, at that point it was too far gone. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
As the pace car is pulling off, you get the 68 taking the lead, 48 to his outside, and here we go.
48 much better start this time on the outside. He stays right with the 68. He's going to try and carry momentum on the outside. It's going to be a tough fight because Tom Ringer really knows how to roll that bottom. You're really going to have to work for an outside pass.
Yeah, I can tell you that 48 car is not going to back down at all. The 68 pulling out to a 10-second lead on him earlier. He does not want to see that again. We're going to have about a 80-lap sprint here to the end. Let's see if the 48 can push it to where he can keep that 68 car within an arm's reach.
He got loose on exit of turn 2, and that allowed the 5 to get under on his inside. The 5 is going to try and chase it down to 68 if he can clear the 48 now.
Yeah, the longer these guys battle, the 68 is going to keep pulling away. Oh, looks like we got a car around. We got multiple cars around. Looking at the 69 car, Todd Perrant, the 28 of Stephen Ouellette. You got the 51 of Jonathan Green spinning around in turns number 1 and 2.
We're going to take a look back at that, see exactly what happened.
Looking here from the 51 car of Jonathan Green. Looks like somebody got an overdrove there a little on entry. The 69 tried to go underneath him, didn't realize the 28 was there on that left rear quarter, and it kind of got him around a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a bottleneck situation. There wasn't really much that any of them could have done differently. Yeah, it looks like somebody overdrove it right in front of the 69. 69 woed up, tried to go down, but the 28 was there, and they just collect each other. Jonathan Green, innocent bystander.
Yeah, unfortunate for that 69 car. He's had a lot of speed tonight. But I do not think we're going to see any takers here on pit road. These guys don't have enough laps on their tires.
And you were 100% right. Caution, breed caution. Now, here's the interesting part. If I'm not mistaken, your lucky dog, Jonathan Bice, is now on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's been pretty quick here trying to cycle off of the standard strategy that everybody else has been playing. So far, it looks like it may have bitten him, but he's going to kind of get his break here to come back to the lead lap.
Yeah. Jackson Bice, my bad. And, you know, I did just see something. He has to take his lucky dog and go around with the field once before he can pit. He definitely slowed up with an attempt to pit. So he might be coming to pit road, try and get that fresh rubber on the car and battle these guys. You know, that fresh rubber could come in handy for him as he is burning up his tires pretty bad.
Looks like the 5 car did have that position from the 48, so we're going to have a new car starting to the outside of the 68 of Tom Ringer. Let's see if this 5 car can roll that outside lane to contest the 68 for the lead.
Jonathan Bice decided not to go. Jackson, I don't know why I keep calling him Jonathan. Jackson Bice decided he was not going to pit. So now we've got the 68 and the 5 car coming around to take that green flag.
As the lights are on the pace car and it pulls off, 68's going to lead the 48 and the 5. 48's going to get a good jump to his bumper. Looks like the 5's going to be side by side with that 48 car. Let's see how this turns out coming on the exit of 2.
Yeah, the 48 really helped the 5 get out to that better lead, as now he's able to get back in there and try and battle with the 5 car to take back P2. He wants to be the guy to be able to chase down Tom Ringer.
Yeah, looks like we got some good side-by-side racing back there. A couple cars looking to take it 3 wide, but rightfully back out of it. Hopefully they keep it that way. Let's get some green flag laps in, see how this one plays out.
That's especially what Tom Ringer wants. He wants a good green flag run because he knows what he can do with it. So that's what he's aiming to do, is get a nice green flag run and get back in front and run away with this thing.
'68 pulling out to almost a 1 second lead over that 48 car of Max Denda. Another second and a quarter back to the 5 of Brandon Hinton. And the caution is out.
Let's take a look and try and see what caused this one. It might be something to do with the 3 car. Let's see what happened. Just another snap loose. That was kind of a late snap too. He had it straightened up and then all of a sudden, boom, kicked it out.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, as we are now at lap 152 of 220. We have about 70 laps remaining of this race. Let's see how these strategies will play out. We're going to step away to a quick commercial break.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now.
Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to deal with?
I know.
Give me that.
Okay, Jerry, once again, everyone's Doritos have mysteriously disappeared from the break room. Now, I realize this is a workplace, and I don't want to sound like I'm accusing you.
How dare you?
Okay.
That hurts, Steve. That hurts right here. And you know what? I don't have time to sit here and play detective. Some of us have work to do. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Outrageous.
And we're back here at the Next Gen race for DES. These guys are now double file. We're going to go around the track one more time, and then we'll be getting back to green flag relapse. One thing I want to point out, remember how last caution I said Jackson Bice wanted to pit, but didn't because he didn't want to lose the chance of his lucky dog. He did now. And so he's going to have the freshest tires out there along with Chuck Burley. So let's see what those guys can do. Can they race their way up? They're starting P6, P7, so it's not like they're far from the front. It's still a decent amount of cars to pass, though.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's a really good strategy to play when you have so few cars on the lead lap. As a 68 takes the green flag, 48 gives a wiggle there on the outside, but he's going to remain side by side going into turn number 1. 48's going to have a massive run on the high side. Let's see if he'll be able to clear him on the exit to the backstretch. And the yellow is out.
4-car around in turn 1 and 2. Bad luck for Chuck Burley. I saw him around right there, and he was definitely into the inside wall. So I'm curious as to see what happened.
So don't count. Oh, he got a little bit of help there from the 99 on entry.
99 probably didn't expect him to lift as soon as he did, because he backs off of him immediately. So he definitely did not intend to do that.
But one thing I'd like to point out, if you look at the your scoring tree there on the left side, we have a new race leader, the 48 of Max Denda.
Yeah, that's going to put Tom Ringer in a very interesting position, having somebody else in control of the restart, because now he has to go off them. He can't go off himself. He can't time it the way he wants to. He has to go off of the 48. Now, he's very good at restarts, but he hasn't had to restart next to somebody in a while in this race.
Yeah, as we're watching this replay, it looks like the 4-car, man, he almost had it saved. He was trying to drift it there through 1 and 2, but it ended up looping him around. Thankfully, everybody else there in the back was able to check up, not get into the rear of him. Looks like a very minimal damage caution.
Yeah, this
Oh.
is the second time he had a situation where it's just kind of a slow rotation where he's good, but the car just decides, nah, you're not good.
Interesting strategy here for the 68 machine. He is going down pit road to get 4 fresh tires and enough fuel to finish this race.
He's gonna try and make the long haul, and he can do it. So he's gonna try and combat them like that. But I don't know if I would have pitted if I were him. He's so good on his tires no matter what. Even when he's on fresh tires in comparison to everybody else, he was a half a second faster than the next guy. Even with old tires, he was still maintaining gaps to new tire people. I don't think I would have pitted if I was him.
I agree with his decision there, but one thing that we haven't seen tonight is that 68 car move through traffic. He's going to be starting behind 6 other guys that are quick, that have speed, that have similar tire strategies. So will he be able to move through this dirty air back to the front?
Now, it's definitely going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited to see it as Brandon Hinton and Max Denda are your front two.
Max Denda with a massive restart. The 56 machine right behind him. Looks like he may have missed a gear on the restart, allowed the 72 to pull up to his bumper. He's now going to be side by side with the 5 going in through turns 3 and 4.
Now remember that 72 is one of the freshest tires in the front group. So he's working his way up there, but look who's also working up there. Tommy Rayner is already poking his nose under people trying to make positions right now. 72's got really nowhere to go. He's got to be patient, got to be cautious about what he's doing. That's the 5, and all of them have caught Max.
You got the 86 of Zach Reichel, the 67 of Charles Connor. Looking here at the replay. Looks like the 67 on the inside. You get the 86 on the outside. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the 86 may have got a little loose on the exit. Came down into the 67. A little bit of both, but either way, these guys, hopefully not too much damage, be able to get back out here and finish this race.
Yeah, these guys are going to have a very interesting moment right now. You know, this is, like you said, caution breeds caution, and we've had back-to-back cautions. We had over 100-lap green flag run, but now we're just getting caution after caution right now.
Yeah, if you watch right here in front of these guys, you'll see that 68 go 3 wide with the 69 and the 4 to take those positions away. That was some very, very, very clean pass right there, 3 wide here at North Wilkesboro. We're going to step away to a quick commercial break here.
At the river mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon. Which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
And welcome back after that quick commercial break. Lights on the pace car are off. You get the 48 of Max Denda leading this race. The 5 of Brandon Hinton to his outside. 72 of Jackson Bice starting in P3. You got the 56 of Mark Holloway in 4th. The 1 of Gary Bergeron in 5th. And that 68 car of Tom Ringer restarting in 6th. And here we go.
72 with a great restart, pushing the 48 through the restart. He's making sure he stays right there with him. He wants to get back to the front. He led the first couple laps, hasn't led since. He wants to change that.
It looked like he was going to look to the inside there, that 48 car real quick. Let's see if this, I know the 48 and the 72, I think they are teammates on the Vaseline team. Let's see if they work together to try to pull away from this field.
Yeah, they are in fact teammates, so he's going to be a little more courteous to him. but he definitely still wants to get around him.
The 5 car around, 67 and the 5 together. Oh, the 5 car upside down. Looks like I don't know what happened there at the end. The 67 and the 5 car got together there on the back stretch. We're going to look here at the replay, see what happened.
Looks like he kind of got squeezed up to the wall by the 69. The 67 gets into his back, lifts up his rear end, and then continues hitting him. But the 5 car actually had to serve a black flag, so he was trying to woe up for that.
And it looks like the 5 car was going up high, trying to let everybody by. He did get a black flag for passing the leader prior to the green flag. So that's why he was up there running high. But don't speak too early. That 68 car, who did take tires probably about 10, 15 laps ago, is now up into P3 behind the 48 of Max Dinda.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering why the 5 car was racing the way he was, because he's got pace to be up front, but he was going slow. But now those guys, Max and Jackson Bice, they've got something to worry about. Tom Ringer, he's bad fast, man. Bad fast. So they've got to really pay attention to that.
As the lights on the pace car are off, we're going to stack up double file. Like I said, you got the 48 leading this race. You got the 72 to his outside, the 68 of Tom Ringer in third, the 4 Chuck Burley sitting in fourth, and the 56 of Mark Holloway in fifth.
I'm really curious to see what happens on here. Max Dinda takes the green flag. 72 holds strong. 68, he's going to get under the 72 now. He wants to get in contention. These guys are battling hard. Tom Ringer is definitely trying to get towards the front. Max Dinda covers him off, trying to protect that position.
Yeah, he's going to clear the 72 there on the exit 4 coming to the stripe. 72 is going to be right at his bumper. And then you got the 56 right behind the 72. 56 getting loose. Oh, sliding back up the track. And some contact. Looks like this one's going to bring out a caution here.
He got his teammate.
Yeah, he got really loose there coming off of turn number 2. Looks like he wasn't able to recover it.
I think that, so it looks like it was the 56, but who did he make contact with? The 56, Mark Holloway.
Yeah, it looks like I said, he got really loose there, tried to save it. He was fighting that wheel, battling back and forth, trying to keep it, but it looks like he was unfortunately unsuccessful to save that and brought it back up into his teammate.
Yeah, Todd Perrant Charles Connor and Christian Clark were all innocent bystanders in that, both in yellow cars, which are very interesting. We don't see a lot of yellow cars on track.
Yeah, going through the field tonight, we do have a lot of fantastic paint schemes out there. 68 car always has a good-looking paint scheme. The 72 with that Wayland scheme. You know, we got the 4 of Chuck Burley with that Ratfink Racing scheme.
That's actually one Chuck Burley made himself. So, you know, it's very nice, and I love seeing it. So it's well done on all these guys on their beautiful paint schemes. We don't have a lot of saturation of the same colors, but there are some unique colors that tend to pop out and are unique. As I said, we don't see a lot of yellow cars. Gary Bergeron, he drives a yellow car every single week, but it's usually just him. And now we've got 3 of them out here today.
Yeah, that's one thing that's pretty awesome here over at DES is we do have a lot of custom paint designers. You know, you got the Ratfink team, which design their own paints. TRN does. You got a lot of these guys that are working together just to produce some of these awesome looking paints out here on the racetrack here tonight.
Yes, sir, as we're double file right now, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Max is in control. Tom Ringer to his outside. 72 gets in, shoves the 48 again. Amazing restart from him. He's going to try and look to the outside of his own teammate.
Yeah, sounds like things are starting to heat up there on the track. 68 car not too happy with the 72. Let's see how he manages to get around him here as the 72 overdrives the corner, allows the 68 underneath.
It might have been an actual beneficial play because look at that run down the straightaway. He might have jumped up there to protect the situation, but you gave Tom Ringer his best lane. That's the issue.
Yeah, that high lane here, yeah, you can get a lot of speed as the 68 gives the 48 a bump, trying to move him off the bottom. 72 is going to pinch him down low. Let's see if the 68 can get a fender underneath that 48. Oh, and he gives the rear bumper. We got 1 car around, 2 car around. Let's see if they can save him. Oh, stacking up the field. We got a lot of cars wrecking out there. The 68, the silver, the 48. And the yellow flag is out.
Short tracks breed tempers, and that might have been that right there. Because you know Tom Ringer was getting a little frustrated with them. But you also saw Max throwing that car right into his way, and that's just a recipe for that kind of actions. He gets right down there, blocks him off. 68 gets into the back of him.
So, I mean, if you keep rolling it, keep watching it, looks like the 68 car is trying to not get boxed in by the 72, trying to roll to the bottom. He does get into the rear bumper a little bit on the 48 there on corner entry. That was a little bit of a late block. The 48's going to slide back up. I think it occurs in the next corner. Looks like both cars were trying to save it and back it down, but was not able to yet. 48 tried to throw a late block. The 68 already had a nose in there, and that was just a recipe for some short track caution.
Yeah, the 68 just had that momentum, and you know, that's when you got to pick and choose your battles. Yes, Tom is hard to beat. Yes, we're going to be entering under 40 laps to go, but you know, you want to be there for the end, and that was one of those ones where he made a decision. I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm not going to say it's right. He made a decision, and he's got to stand by that decision, and that's just what happens when that kind of stuff goes down.
Yeah, I will give props to all the guys that were involved in that incident. It looks like everybody was able to get slowed down. There was no significant contact. So, you know, good job on those guys to try to maintain their position and avoid hitting other cars.
Now, all those guys went and hit pit road because of that situation. I think even Tom Ringer did, and so did Gary Bergeron. But now you got a new leader, Jonathan Green. He was up front battling, and then he lost it, and now he's going to be leading the field to green right now with Matthew Tennant, a guy who I believe he spun earlier in this race. And so now these guys are up front. That's how quick your race can change.
Yeah, he is the first time for him leading in this race. He has had a little bit of speed, been running up front for most of the race within the top 5. So you're going to have the 51 car of Jonathan Green leading us back to the green flag. You got the 59 of Matthew Tennant to his outside. That 68 machine of Tom Ringer in P3, the 1 of Gary Bergeron in 4th. And then you got the 48 car of Max Dinda sitting in 5th.
Now we do know Max Dinda, Todd Brunt, and Jackson Bice all did hit pit road because of that situation. Jonathan Green's going to lead it. The 59 just doesn't go on the outside. Entire outside lane stacked up. The 51's going to have to fend off the 68 of Tom Ringer, but he's got the 48 behind him who, you never know, be a little upset with him.
Yeah, like you were saying, tempers are flaring here at some short track racing. As the 68's looking to the inside of the 51. Let's see if the 51, I know he prefers that high lane. Let's see if he's able to roll it here on exit, get the momentum onto the backstretch.
That's, I mean, you know, he prefers up there, but that might not be the fastest line, especially when that means giving the guy who's the fastest on the bottom. So as you can see, Tom Ringer's starting to win out on that fight. He's going to try and clear him here in the 1 and 2. And if he doesn't do it now, he'll probably get it in 3 and 4 here right now.
48 car locked at the brakes there on entry. The 68 is clear of the 51. Let's see if he'll be able to slide up and lock that position, and he will. You have a new race leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer. 48 car now looking to the inside of the 51, trying to follow Tom there to the inside.
Now, the 51's doing a good job. He keeps putting his nose up there on the outside. He keeps causing Tom to have to move down low, giving him a much shallower entry into the corners than he would like. But at the same time, it's costing the 51. He's scrubbing off a lot of momentum, and it's allowed the 72 to get up there, who took over the position from Max Dinda, his teammate.
Yeah, the 51 is trying to run that higher groove, trying to get the momentum to be able to get underneath Tom on the entry of corner, but I don't think he's going to have the momentum or the tire longevity to make it happen.
I will say this at least, if a caution was to come out right now, where the 51 is right now, he would get a good restart. He would just have to roll him, but I don't think a caution is going to come out. That high line works for about a lap or two, but after that, you've got to pretty much get to the bottom. You can't hang out up there.
Yeah, the 51 is now under attack from the 72. Looks like the 72 is going to clear. Oh, 51 with a huge run there on corner entry. Let's see if the 72 is going to be able to clear him on exit.
51's really good on corner entry, but his corner exit is suffering from it, and it's costing him some time. As these guys are battling, it's going to allow Tom Ringer to try and extend that gap.
48 is just itching to get to that inside of the 51 machine, trying to get a rear or a front fender in on corner exit so he can have the drive into entry.
You know, while they're battling this hard, one, Tom Ringer is going to be looking to move away, and two, Gary Bergeron, Todd Perrant, look at them catching it. They're going to be moving into your picture here soon.
Yeah, right now the 51 needs to get there to the inside, start to slow this bleeding. He is losing quite a few positions here.
Yeah, he's still battling with the 48. Even though there's only 9 people on the lead lap, he's still having to fight hard. So he definitely wants to get down low and kind of stop this issue from happening and continuing.
As we now have almost 20 laps to go. Earlier in this race, we were down to 4 people on the lead lap. We now have 9 people within contention to win this race.
And that just goes to show how those cautions helped a lot of people out. Because at one point, that 72 was 2 laps down. At the start of the cautions that were coming out, he was 2 laps down. And now he is in P2, looking to try and chase down Tom Ringer.
One thing I've noted, oh, car on the inside. Let's see if he is able to keep it and we can stay green. Looks like we will stay green. That was the 99 of Christian Clark.
Looks like it was actually somebody in front of the 99. About 2 positions up.
And it looks like the 72 machine of Bice has now almost pulled to the rear bumper of Tom Ringer. We saw things get heated a little bit earlier. We're closing in on 20 to go. Edwin, do you think he'll hesitate putting the bumper and trying to win this race?
He already hasn't hesitated to do that, so I don't put it past him. I think if push came to shove, to come out on top, he would do that. Now, Tom Ringer, he's a very respectful guy. So if you do that to Tom Ringer, you have to expect that coming back to you at some other point. Tom Ringer, he is not afraid to use his bumper. So if you use your bumper on him and it's done too early and he can get back to yours, best believe it's happening back to you.
You know what they say, what comes around goes around. As we are now closing 17 to go, there's a 0.4 of a second gap between Tom Ringer and Bice. You got the Max Dinda right there in the back of the picture, sitting 0.7 behind everybody on the lead lap, is still in contention to win this race.
Yeah, their distance has pretty much stayed exactly the same. So if Tom Ringer can continue holding on to this momentum, he can hold on to this. The last thing he wants is those guys to get to his rear end.
72 now down to 0.3 of a second. He is slowly but surely reeling him in. Will he have enough tire and enough momentum left to get to his bumper before this race is over?
I'm curious to see if he will, because he's got to also think about, yes, it's his teammate behind him, but if his teammate can get to his bumper too, at the time when they get to each other, you're under threat too. As he's getting really close. He got about a half car length on entry there, and now it comes back to a full car length now. He is definitely getting closer and closer, and you know Tom knows that.
Now down to 0.2 of a second. One interesting factor here is Jonathan Bice did pit on that last caution a couple laps ago. Tom Ringer did not.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about. Tom Ringer is good on the tires no matter where they are, because he's still holding competitive times against these guys, as Bice is actually falling back from Tom Ringer now.
Yeah, it looks like he might have had a slight wiggle there on entry, maybe got a little loose. But look at these guys. They have absolutely checked out from the rest of the field, have a 2.5 second gap back to position number 4, that one car, Gary Bergeron.
72 is going to move out of the way of the 48. He might think that his teammate has a better chance of getting up there, or he just knew that his materials burned, because like I said, he was starting to fall back.
With now 10 laps to go, a 0.6 of a second gap. Let's see. Oh, and look what's in the front windshield of that 68 car. We got some lap traffic coming up.
Yeah, if he catches them and they hold him up, that's going to allow the 48 of Max Dinda to get all the way there.
Regardless of if he passes through it clean, he's still going to be encountering some dirty air. It is going to tighten that car up, make it a little more difficult to drive.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to pay attention to what he's doing right now. It's going to get real close.
Looking here from the cockpit view of that 48 machine of Max Dinda trying to run down the 68. I think he sees the same thing that we do in those lap cars. He's going to try to take advantage of this to see if any of these lap cars are going to race that 68 car.
Yeah, the last thing the 68 wants is a car that's trying to race them, or them to get racing in front of him, as two of them are side by side right now.
68 has now reached the back bumper of the first lap car. The 67 of Charles Connor. Will Charles give him the bottom? He's going to have to go 3 wide here through, almost 4 wide. Contact with the 68, 40 in the back of the 67. That's going to allow the 68 to pull out to a 0.5 of a second gap.
That could not have happened at a worse time for Max. It almost worked out for him, just for it to not work out next.
That was an excellent racecraft by that 68 car of Tom Ringer, making it through a 4 wide on corner entry with no issues.
That's the 3 car. He's pretty much just going to give the lane to the 68. He's not going to get in the way. He's going to stay out of their way. He's going to let them do what they need to do.
I can tell you the 48 is trying to drive the wheels off this thing to get to his back bumper, but I don't know if he's going to have enough in him, as we are now 5 laps to go.
Jackson Bice is actually falling into the clutches of Gary Bergeron, so that's also not working out for him as he is kind of hung up behind the lap traffic car.
And Gary Bergeron looks like he's going to cleanly get by him.
No, he's passing a lap car. Sorry, our producer gave us wrong info. But Tom Ringer has checked out to a second and a half at this point, pretty much. Almost a second and a half. So it looks like it's smooth sailing for him. 2 laps to go. Unless something was to happen on track right now, nothing's going to stop him from winning this race.
Never say never. You know, short track race, and all you got to do is break that rear end loose, and it's a completely different race. He is now going through turns 3 and 4. The 68 car is going to take the white flag this time by.
48 is not going to be able to get to him. So it's going to be Tom Ringer who's most likely to win unless something happens. But it looks like the 72 is 72 gets hurt by the 3. The 1 car gets around him.
68 of Tom Ringer is going to bring this one home. You get the 48 of Max Dinda in second place.
Yeah, and it's going to be Gary Bergeron bringing home a top 3 position. I don't know what just happened there right at the end, but it looked like the 72 just got snapped by him on the last lap.
That would have been the 72 car on lap 219.
220. Having a bit of technical difficulties as we get to that, as all the Rat Fink boys are sitting on the front straightaway, celebrating together as a team. Gary Bergeron also jumps in there. It's his first top 3 finish. So that was an amazing finish to this race. Whatever happened to Jackson Bice was it was definitely crazy to have that happen. Tom Ringer definitely showed domination and made sure he drove all the way to the front and locked up that race win. He controlled 90% of this race. As we're going to bring in our 3rd place finisher, Gary Bergeron, in the number 1 car to have a chat with him. Gary, well done on your top 3 position. What were you thinking on that last lap?
We're dealing with a couple of technical difficulties. Gary Bergeron, you got us?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What were you thinking there on that last lap?
It was wild that last lap, though. When I saw my 3rd place in front of me, touched the other guy. The other guy touched him and got him loose. And that's my only chance, and there it was. And that's why I finished on the podium tonight.
Yeah, Gary, that was outstanding. At one point, you were in contention to take over the race lead. You fell all the way back, came under threat to go a lap down. Did you think the race was over when you went a lap down?
Oh, that's for sure, especially when I was the 3rd or 4th car a lap down. So I said, hey, the other guy's going to get the lucky dog and the lucky dog. So I fought my way up in the lucky dog position, and I got it, and I got my lap back.
Yeah, that was an awesome performance out there. You know, what were your keys here? I know you weren't up there originally in the top 3 battling out towards the end, right? But what was your strategy to make it here to the end up front here tonight?
Well, this is a track mostly for saving tires. I still had a set left in the pit, so I was waiting for maybe a last 10, 15 lap, yellow flag, and I would have probably gone and put some new ones on, and it would give me a chance to win, you know?
Congratulations, Gary, on your P3 finish. Is this your first podium finish here in DES?
Well, I've been here since the start when they used to host races when they were building the league and that. So I won one time a host race, but in the league race, yes, it's my first.
Congratulations, you definitely earned it.
Thank you very much, and I'll be around. You're for sure.
Congratulations, Gary. Your P3 finisher, Gary Bergeron. Now we're going to bring the 48 car of Max Denda, your second place finisher, in tonight. Max, what did you think about that race here tonight?
Yeah, it was pretty tricky conditions out there. Pretty hot, slick. Gotta manage your tires. Had a few close calls. Losing it on the straightaway, just bumps, upset your car. Pretty hard track. So.
Yeah, we saw you kind of get into the wall there a little bit, loose on corner exit. You know, we saw things start to get a little heated there towards the end of the race. You know, what do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not too mad about it. So, I felt like I was coming in to make my turn in the turn when Tom hit me. I mean, I feel like there's a reason why he hit me the turn before and that turn. I mean, I'm not upset about it or anything, but it is what it is, and yeah, we'll move on from that. Final lap, though, I feel bad for my teammate Jackson Bice there. First race with us, and looks like the three just lost talent and turned him there.
Hey, yeah, man. I saw the incident with Tom Ringer. It looked like you just pulled down in front of him, trying to hold that line, trying to cover him off, and it just looked like a late move. Did you think you might have cost yourself a good finish in that moment?
No, I knew I would have another shot at it. I mean, in the moment, I felt like it could have been late, but at the same time, I was also turning into my turn in the corner, and he at the same time dove it in really deep. So, whichever way you want to look at that, but it is what it is, and we'll move on to next week.
Yeah, just some good old-fashioned short track racing. You know, what was your strategy here to make it to the end of the night? You know, you showed a lot of speed all night, especially a lot of short run speed. So, what strategies did you play that benefited you into the second place finish?
I don't know. I mean, we were gonna one stop it if it went green there, where I was. Jackson Bice was burning up his tires, so he was gonna do a two stop. But we had a few cautions there, and try to save as much as I can on those long green flag runs, and on the short runs, I feel like I was really good. But yeah, P2, good finish. We'll move on.
Well, Max, congratulations on your second place finish.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Good job, Max, man. You deserved it. Let's bring in our race winner, Tom Ringer.
Tom Ringer, what an absolute dominant performance here tonight. You had almost the entire field one lap down. You know, what were your keys to success to having such a dominant performance here tonight?
Thanks, guys. Mark Holloway, 56, came up with that setup. And let me tell you, it was a long run car. Now, I didn't think it was going to be such a long runs, but it turned out that way. If it would have just stayed green.
Yeah, you know, we were watching it from up here, and almost over 100 laps of a green flag run. You know, that's honestly, it's very impressive. You know, we saw you almost lapping down the field. You ended up playing a strategy that puts you back to the back of the pack, trying to race your way through. Was there any sort of like significant changes between, you know, leading the race, having the clean air versus restarting back there in eighth behind, you know, with 7 cars in front of you to work through?
No, you know, the whole field was pretty lenient today. They knew who the fast guys were. They knew who the slow guys were, so they'd kind of get out of the way. And that really helped out. There was a couple guys that gave a little bit of trouble, but for the most part, me hooking the bottom the way I was doing was really paying off. I'm surprised that Max and everybody didn't see the line I was running and start running it, but, you know, it was a good race. Nice, clean, one of the best ones we've had.
Yeah, Tom, honestly, it was amazing watching you run that. You had a little bit of battles early on, and then you set yourself apart, and you just pure domination. After that long run, did you feel some type of way when the caution finally came out?
I knew it was going to happen eventually. I just, certain guys are a lot hard. Max is a great racer and he doesn't give an inch. So I knew that it was going to come to play. And then he was working with the other guy. I forget his
Jackson.
Which one was it?
Jackson Bice.
Yeah, Jackson's a good racer. He was not giving me anything, and they were on a channel together, and they kind of run me up a little bit, so I had to dive underneath them, and then I got into Max a little bit, and I thought it was over right there, but I got straightened out, and luckily went in, got tires, and came out and finished it off.
Yeah, watching through that, it looked like most of the vehicles had gotten straightened out. Everybody kind of behind, kind of woed up, But that was honestly, it was extremely impressive to see, that how you recovered from that. You stayed out on tires. You were able to maintain consistent lap times with the rest of the guys that were on absolutely like 1-2 lap, old tires.
Yeah, I was watching my tire wear, and first time I came in after the 100 laps, I was still pretty good. I won't say what it was, but I was pretty good. So I knew that once they checked and went into the pits that they were gonna, if it stayed green, I would have stayed the lead. But if it would have been another caution and it would have brought them to me, I would have had a lot harder time.
Well, Tom Ringer, congrats on the race win in the Next Gen Series. It was beautifully done, well executed. Very happy for you. Good job, brother.
I think that's 2 in a row, right?
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah.
Tom Ringer, your current Next Gen points leader and race winner here tonight. Congratulations, Tom, on that awesome performance.
Thanks, guys, and thanks DES for having me. You guys do an awesome job.
We appreciate that up here in the booth.
Well, Hunter, amazing race. Good ending to it. How did you feel about that race?
No, I was excited. I was excited to see the green flag runs and to see different strategies play into it. So watching these guys run 100 laps on one set of tires and then how they're able to manage them and extend them that long, right? And you kind of turn that and turn it inwards and how can I use this to improve my racecraft? Like what kind of lines are these guys running to be able to extend it for that long? You know what I mean? So kind of taking, what you learn here from what you're watching here and to turn it into your own driving.
Yeah, as a person who suffers with short track racing, it's always fun to watch these guys turn laps on short tracks because they do such a phenomenal job. So I definitely had lessons that I'm going to take from this and I'm going to enjoy, but that's going to be it all for us here at DSI Racing in the Next Gen Series. I appreciate you, Hunter Davis, being my co-host today, and Damon O'Brien, thank you for everything you do in the booth. So have a wonderful evening. See ya.